Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are jumping right in to decode Ripple's CEO Brad Garlinghouse's playbook for the future, and it's all based on his latest insights. And that positive streak is exactly what we're digging into today. This statement from Garlinghouse himself really sets the stage, While a lot of the crypto world has been hitting some serious headwinds, Ripple seems to have found a way to just accelerate. So here's what we're covering. We're going to look at their insane growth, then the huge, and I mean huge shift that's happening with regulation. After that, we'll get into the core tech they're building, and finally, we'll tie it all together with their long-term vision. Okay, first up, let's just talk about the numbers. Because while the crypto market in general has been kind of flat, Ripple has been on a totally different path. So instead of getting bogged down by all that market volatility, the company really doubled down on strategic expansion. And this focus has led to some results that are, frankly, pretty unheard of. And it really sets them apart from everybody else. A huge part of the strategy? A really bold move. They invested over $1 billion into two key acquisitions. And according to Garlinghouse, it's not just that they're working out. He says both have massively overperformed.
And just look at this number. Their prime brokerage arm, which is now called Ripple Prime, has tripled its revenue rate since they bought it. That isn't just growth, you guys. That's explosive momentum.
Now, here's what's so smart about this. These two acquisitions, they're not just separate bets. They are designed to be interlocking pieces of a much bigger puzzle. Ripple Treasury is like a control panel for companies' global cash, and Ripple Prime is the gateway for big institutions into the crypto markets. You put them together, and you've got a seriously powerful financial ecosystem. All right, so all this impressive growth, it didn't just happen in a vacuum. For years, the single biggest obstacle for Ripple, especially here in the US, has been regulation, but it really seems like the tide is finally turning. Garlinghouse literally called the last 4 years a war on crypto, all driven by this idea of regulation by enforcement. But what we're seeing now is a major, major shift. There are actual bipartisan efforts pushing for a clear, predictable set of rules. And right at the center of this entire shift is one key piece of proposed legislation that pretty much everyone in this space has their eyes on, the Clarity Act. So what would this act actually do? Well, simply put, it wants to end all the regulatory gray area that's kept so many big institutions sitting on the sidelines. By clearly defining what's a security, think of a stock, and what's a commodity, like gold, it gives the big banks and financial players the legal certainty they've been waiting for to jump into the crypto market with both feet. And this quote right here, it illustrates the stakes perfectly. Garlinghouse doesn't see this as some minor tweak. He sees it as the key that will unlock a massive wave of adoption from the biggest names in finance. Okay, so with the regulatory stage now being set, let's get to the heart of it all. The actual core technology that Ripple is building. It's something they call the Internet of Value. This slide right here gets to the absolute core of the problem XRP was built to solve. I mean, think about it. None of us would wait 3 to 5 days for an email to show up, right? So why do we accept that for our money? The whole goal here is to take that slow, expensive world of international payments and turn it into a system that's instant, incredibly cheap, and runs 24/7. Now, a major catalyst that's driving all this change is the rise of stablecoins. And this quote, it just captures the moment perfectly. You know how ChatGPT suddenly made AI real and tangible for millions of people? Well, stablecoins are doing the same thing for blockchain and corporations. They act as this stable, reliable bridge into what can be a really volatile world of digital finance. And here is how all those pieces we've been talking about actually fit together. So a company uses Ripple Treasury to manage all its funds. Then it uses the XRP ledger to move that money across borders in seconds. And finally, it uses Ripple Prime to get access to deeper liquidity and trading services. It's a complete start-to-finish solution. All right, finally, let's zoom all the way out to the big picture. In a market that is so often driven by pure hype, Ripple's long-term strategy is honestly kind of refreshing. It's way less about chasing those short-term price charts and much more about building fundamental, real-world value. The source material we're pulling from makes this really fascinating parallel between XRP's journey and the early days of a tech giant that, well, we all know and probably use every day. Just take a look at this comparison. For a full decade, I'm talking from 1999 to 2009, Amazon's stock price was basically flat. It went nowhere. But behind the scenes, Jeff Bezos was just relentlessly building an e-commerce empire. The argument being made here is that Ripple is in a similar building phase right now. Just head down, focusing on utility, solving a massive real-world problem, even while the market hasn't fully woken up and priced in that value yet.
So, what does this all boil down to? It's this. While others in the crypto space are chasing the next hot trend, Ripple has a guiding principle, their North Star, as Garlinghouse calls it, and it's just this relentless focus on utility. Every single thing they do is designed to make the technology more useful in the real world.
And that leaves us with one last, pretty provocative thought. If the whole strategy is to just build undeniable fundamental value first, and then let the market catch up later, could we be watching a very similar story unfold right now, but in the world of digital finance? It's definitely something to think about.